Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. Cleester, hello, Reedy.
Hey, Shirley.
I'm
Hi,
so
everybody.
thankful to God for such another beautiful day. And you
Amen.
see, I'm rushing around here, forgot one thing at the last minute. Dear God, as we sit before you to speak, we pray to you that our souls you will keep. And if we should die before we finish, we pray to you, dear God, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. So, Reedy, how you feeling today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully well. Mine, let me see if they're coming on. No, this Bixby thing came up. Okay, so
See
your
what's
topic
happening.
is, what's your topic?
Identifying your coping mechanism.
Right, right. Recognizing your coping mechanism, how to
Uh huh.
recognize your coping mechanism. Look,
Yes,
Lord,
ma'am.
I've been doing stuff. But anyway, okay, and mine is life and the universe, do they complement or conflict? And I saw I'm trying to pull it up now. There Kay Emberlin Gilbert from Denison had I was just going through scanning because I like to put my posts on my encouraging posts. And so I came across what Kay had put on there today. And I did send her a message and let her know that I'm going to talk about this, talking about the universe and life and all. And it's just amazing and how, remember, we've already talked about don't take life for granted. And there's
Mm-hmm.
so many things that are going on in life. But this article, I found an article, and I'm looking to the side because it's on my tablet. It's globaltruthproject.com, and what it is, the present truth about life. The present truth about life. And so so many people take life for granted. I'm looking Kay up here. I'm going to find her so I can find it. I had saved it and everything. You know how things come up and missing when you when you're looking for it. So I did save it, but I'm going to go to her page, and it's something that she. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. So thinking about life, and sometimes I think because Ella Davis he used to tell me, say, Sister Davis, you suffer vicariously. Tells me I worry myself about things that I really don't need to be worrying about. But I think about life, and I think about how people take life for granted, and there are people right now struggling for life, just trying to stay alive. And so here it is. This is what Kay wrote, and I'm going to try to make it bigger here so I can read it. Um, but it's Kay Emberlin Gilbert, and people in Denison know her. And the Truth Church, they founded the Truth Church in Denison, and right now I think their son is the pastor. The uh, they're not interim. You know what I'm saying? They have given the pastorage to him now. But this is what she said, and it means so much because these are things that I like to share. So let me see if I can make it bigger. I don't know whether I can or not. So what she said is, at birth, it's called the train. And Clee, this will probably be similar to what I said at Michael's funeral about the 5:15 bus. But this is entitled. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is entitled The Train. At birth, we boarded the train and met our parents, and we believe they will always travel by our side. As time goes by, other people will board the train and they will be significant, i.e., our siblings, for example, i.e., our siblings, friends, children, strangers, and even the love of your life. However, at some station, our parents will step down from the train leaving us on this journey alone. Others will step down over time and leave a permanent vacuum. Some, however, will go so unnoticed that we don't realize they vacated their seats. And we know life is like that. We can be in a different place or something, and we can see people and we don't see them, and we don't even realize they're not there until maybe we might think about it later.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, might not even think
Yep.
about it. The
Mm-hmm.
train ride will be full of joy, sorrow, fantasy, expectations, hellos, goodbyes, and farewells. Success consists of having a good relationship with all passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. The mystery to everyone is we do not know at which station we ourselves will step down. I talk about this quite often.
Yep.
So we must live in the best way, love, forgive, and offer the best of who we are. It is important to do this because when the time comes for us to step down and leave our seat empty, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who will continue to travel on the train of life. I wish you a joyful journey for the coming years on your train of life. Reap success, give lots of love, and be happy. More importantly, thank God for the journey. And she said, lastly, I want to thank you for being one of the passengers on my train. And then she goes on to say, and she asked Rick this, okay. Today there will be a change on my train. And then she puts this comment, whoever it belongs to, because I did ask her if it's an original of hers or if somebody else, but right now I haven't heard from her. And if I did, I don't see it. Today there will be a change on my train. Whoever responds to this post will remain on my train. You know how some people put stuff on there. You
Right.
see these
Right.
things.
Yeah.
This will free you up to step off at a station if you desire to. So anyway, that is so nice because we're all riding this train
Mm-hmm.
from day to day. And like Sunday, I think it was one day I talked to Pauletta Clee. And so it was a few days ago. And so Pauletta said, I have her saying millisecond. she said that now, millisecond. But oh my goodness, when I was reading this other article here, Kate, that is a wonderful, wonderful writing and saying right there, because that's how I live my life. Like I'm riding a train, a bus, or whatever. And I know one day I'm going to have to step off. Just like mama stepped off, daddy stepped off,
Yep.
uh, Danny, Lewis, Michael, Natalie, and Bubba. And before
Yep.
that, Mother, Grandpa Lewis, Papa, Grandma. Then all of the other people have stepped off the train. And one day we're going to step off that train. But what kind of influence will we leave behind? Well, how will people remember us after we step off the train? And so then I had already been studying this. I'd been thinking about the universe, and do the universe and life complement each other, or do they conflict? Because some people try to separate the universe and life, but it cannot be separated. Because who made the universe? God. And he's the giver of all life, the creator. But I want to read just some. This is long, and so but I'm not going to read all of it. The ultimate truth of life in 4 pages. The present, okay, and we're coming into the present. A man should look for what is and not for what he thinks should be. And Albert Einstein said this. So this is truth you can check. It is as matter of fact as the ground and as useful as food. It's the kind of truth that can make hate and war as unnecessary as ignorance. And so they talked about the theory of evolution. And then in here, they say it's been proven that, people evolved from this bacteria and all this, and animals and all of this, everybody evolved and then we came to being a human being. I'm not going to even deal with that because I don't believe it. It's not true. So I'm not going to deal with that because we know we were all born, understand what I'm saying. But yet life goes on. Now, when I look at that, we have come down. There's a portion of our ancestors in each one of us. So we have evolved from our ancestors. So we have evolved, but it's through birth. You understand what I'm saying? Not just we were a piece of tadpole today, and then a few years we turn into a frog, then we turn into a whatever, and then we turn into a human being. It's not like that. Every creature has its own original, what is it? Origin. Okay, so we didn't evolve from a monkey. We didn't evolve from a bear. Life came by the way that God wanted it to come, through man and woman getting together. Okay, so we didn't evolve from an animal, but the evidence that we evolved, they said, was true, is true, but I'm not going into that. But immortality, it is impossible to be conscious of being unconscious. And I thought this was super. It's not possible to be aware of being unconscious from your own perspective. You cannot be aware of not being aware. You can be less aware / conscious, such as when you are asleep, but not completely unconscious, like dead. Okay, because time would stand still for you. 1,000,000,000 years could pass and you would not even know it. And when we're asleep, we don't know what's going on.
Amen.
We don't know the time is passing. We don't know whether we're alive or dead when we're asleep. So how do you know you're dead? It's not possible to be aware of any gaps in life. It is continuous and never ending from your own point of view. Death and birth are a continuous event from your own perspective. You will die physically, depending, we're mortal and we will put on immortality, whether we die natural death here or we're caught up in the rapture. Okay, so I always have to stress that. You will die physically, but you will be born into a new physical body. Okay, they say physical, but we will put on immortality. But being born happens, or you would not be here now if we were not born, if it didn't happen. You were born into this life. It is what we know happens. Just like I was saying, we know that we were born into this life. And as mothers, we know that we bore children. So we know that to be a fact. So there's no evidence anything else happens. So it asks the question, is that true or false? The you only live once theory. And so I'm going to do this, and then if I have to go back and say something to counteract what is being said here, I will. Many people say that they do not believe in reincarnation. They believe when you die, you're dead. And what Mama used to say, when you're dead, you're done.
You're dead, you're done.
So what about fish, clams, horses, bears, flies? People that say you only live once are saying some souls get to live just one life as a worm, and that is it for all eternity. Other people believe you are judged by a God. This is what this article says, by a God after you die. Is the worm judged? And sometimes we think about that, but then I think there's a place in the scriptures that says the animals don't have a hereafter. They don't have a conscience. Just when they die, they did. But when we die, we have to face God. But then we all go the same way. We're all born, like the animals are born, conceived and born, and they die and go back to the dust, but they don't get raised up on the judgment day. Okay? So many people think human beings are the only animal that is conscious. It is a dog or a cat conscious? Where do you draw the line? Is a bird conscious? The truth is that all animal life is conscious and alive just like us. The only thing that makes humans different from other animals is that we have a mind that can think and reason at a high enough level to know the truth of life. And those that know rise above animals, because we can think, we can rationalize and all that. And animals think too. They can reason some things out, but they don't have the mental capacity that we have. And God did not intend for it to be there, be like us, okay? So you are immortal. It is time to see and accept truth and evidence. The evidence supports you are immortal. It is impossible, and I'm going to read this, okay? It is impossible to not be, because it is impossible to be conscious of being unconscious. Just that one sentence proves it. It is like these sentences. It is impossible for it to be light and dark at the same time. We know that. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. So many people think they can. These are simple but certain facts. The sentence, it is impossible to be conscious of being unconscious, is a simple and certain fact. When we're unconscious, we're not conscious that we're unconscious, because people are unconscious for years and years, like in a coma. And they
Yep.
have no idea that they're in a
And
coma
I come.
after
Yep.
they wake up, and people say, you've been asleep for 30 years. They didn't know it.
Nope, they didn't.
They didn't know it. So
Nope, they
energy
didn't.
cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. And this is what Albert Einstein said. So like energy, consciousness cannot be created or destroyed. But I want to go on down here. People are trying to understand the universe independent of consciousness. And it is most important, it's the most important factor in the equation. The universe, as it relates to conscious life, can be understood now. It is the ultimate truth of life, the truth that will transform mankind and the world. Hello, everyone that's with us. I'm not monitoring, but a plea might be. But we
No,
thank you for
I'm
joining
not
us
yet.
today. And I'm talking about the universe life. Does it complement or conflict? Do they complement or conflict each other? For every action, there is an equal opposite reaction. And we've heard that over and over again. People do not realize what Isaac Newton's third law of motion really means. Everything is balanced, and this is where it gets into what I really, really like. Everything is balanced, and I'm still thinking about that train. And there's a season and a time for everything. That's, I think, in Proverbs, I believe. Everything is balanced. Everything physical, matter slash energy, goes back and forth in balanced circles. Cycles are the equivalent. Birth to death, old, young, big, small, strong, weak, start, stop, up, down, rich, poor, beginning, end, fast, slow, hot, cold, pain, pleasure, win, lose, day, night, full, empty, high, low, in, out, success, failure, united, divided, give, receive, creation, destruction, on, off, positive, negative, and etc. There's a balance. One balances the other. Okay? Up and down, rich and poor, beginning and end, and all that. There's a balance. So positive and negative forces moving in balance are the physical universe. There are no exceptions to the law of nature Newton revealed. They apply to all matter and energy. Human beings are matter, right? They say we're matter and
Yep.
energy. We
Yes.
have the molecules and all of that in our bodies, all of
Mm-hmm.
that DNA and all those different
Yep.
things in our bodies. Thus, you and all humans are governed by the same laws as the universe. This is what Newton is saying. So now we talk about luck. You know, we don't usually say luck. I don't like my hair today, but anyway. Okay. Good luck and bad luck are the balance in action and the way the balance most affects our lives. Good luck and bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Luck is manifested on many levels. There is the day-to-day luck, from little things like getting a good parking space or a bad one, to big things such as winning the lottery or finding out you have cancer. And somebody in, I think, Lancaster, was it Lancaster? Won $5 million yesterday. Mm.
Whoa.
Then there is, so they say, "Ooh, that was some luck." I'll be saying, "Thank you, Lord, for the blessing." Hallelujah.
Woo.
Okay.
Hey.
Then there is the long-term luck. You are lucky if you are born with good looks, money, health, talent and intelligence. Now I'm talking about the universe and life. Do they complement or conflict each other? Okay, so you are unlucky if you are born unattractive, poor, sickly, and without talent or intelligence. Most people are in between the extremes, but it does not matter because we are immortal and it will all balance out. So they say it all balances out. Whether you were born attractive or unattractive, rich or poor, it all is going to balance out. Luck will move back and forth. Everyone will get equal amounts of good and bad luck. And Clee, we've seen that all our lives.
Yep.
We've seen it all our lives. We might not be the richest people in the world, but then the richest people in the world, they don't have what we have. So it all balances out.
It
It
balances out.
all
Yes.
balances. What goes around comes around. Everyone gets their turn. Now, this right here, death is the great equalizer. If you are born with advantages, you can have more good times than bad times in your life. But when you die, you're reborn with disadvantages. Now, I'm just going to read this, okay? Disadvantages, and have more bad times than good times, and vice versa. So, in the long run, no one has it better or worse than anyone else does because life will always balance eventually. It is the known nature of the universe we live in. I'm not saying you're going to die and come back and then you're going to be worse off than what you were. I'm not condoning that. But everything balances out. So if you flip a coin 1,000 times, it will come up heads about half the time and tails about half the time. The odds of random events are predictable. This is why Las Vegas always makes a profit on gambling year after year because they know the odds. They know that these things are going to balance out and they are going to come out on top. They'll
Every
win
time.
more than they lose.
Every time.
So you can see the truth if you look at the big picture. You will see that random events are predictable because they balance. It's a fundamental truth of life everyone knows but ignores. So the universe and life is a balance. And so this is why on the 4th of July, and listen, well, I know you're listening.
Yes.
This is why on the 4th of July, about 162 people will be killed in auto accidents. And every fourth, about the same amount are killed. An average of 12 auto accidents happen every minute. About 6,000 teenagers are killed in auto accidents every year in the U.S. About 4 million people are bitten by dogs. These are statistics. This is a balance. This is nature and the universe balancing out. So why is the number about the same every year? This is kind of heavy, isn't it, reading? But it's so interesting.
But yes.
And I know I won't finish it. I won't finish it. Not today. Everything is determined, the beginning as well as the end, by forces over which we have no control. And you know, I preach that and preach that. We have no control over what goes on. God is totally in control.
Amen.
We're just here. And that's why this universe and all this balancing out makes so much sense to me. Why the train makes so much sense to me. Everything is determined, the beginning as well as the end. And he said, human beings, this is Albert Einstein. He said, the beginning as well as the end by forces over which we have no control. It is determined for insects as well as for the stars. Human beings, vegetables, or cosmic dust. We all dance to a mysterious tune intoned in the distance. And that's Albert Einstein. I watched a movie. Was it Before I Go? I think that was the name of the movie a few days ago, Before I Go. And so this lady, when she come and go, she did most walking all the time. So she was having some issues and everything with life and all that. Wasn't sure whether she wanted to be here or whether she did not want to be here. So not far from her apartment, you know, they have the little tree places. They put the little trees in, like the little square things in the city. that they
Right,
have
right.
set up for trees with the dirt and all that, and then they have little flowers and vegetation in them. So
Uh-huh.
she looked down, and so a little worm was coming out of that, getting ready to come onto the sidewalk. So she did like I would do, picked the little worm up
I was
and put him back in the little box thing so he couldn't get stepped on. So she said, no, no,
smack.
you don't need to come out here like that. You know, she talked to him and everything, and she tried to cover him up, and then he started back out where she brought him from. So one day she would do this. This was a repetitive thing. One day she came by, and lo and behold, he was out there on the concrete, and somebody had stepped on part of him. And he was just, because he couldn't move, he was, part of him was smashed into the concrete. So she picked it up. She was in frantic, and she picked the worm up and took him in the house and did some research. Can he live with part of his body smashed? She anyway. That's so
It's a
she did this,
worm.
and she wasn't sure. This is the way life is. It said, so not being in control does not mean the future is predestined. No one
Child,
knows the future.
put him on a hook.
So she took the worm in the house. Everything is predetermined. We can't control anything, even no matter how we try. Okay, don't. But it came out that at the end, what she did, she went and researched to see, because a worm can live if a certain part of it is not destroyed. And
Mm-hmm.
so when the movie went off, she had that worm a box in the house, and it was surviving. So
Child.
anyway, the universe, that it was determined and destined, and he got stepped on, but she took some action, and then she saved his life for them. So
And I put him
destiny.
right on a hook.
Destiny,
Straight
not
to the
being in
lake. Yeah.
control, does not mean our future is predestined. No one knows the future. The future cannot be known. Only God knows the future.
Amen.
Anything can happen. The only thing we can be certain of is that it will be balanced. It will be balanced. There's always a balance. Why you think people keep going out? This second somebody's gone, the same second somebody's coming in. A balance. Universe and life is balanced out. So the good news is all of the best things are going to happen to you. The bad news is so will all the worst things if
Oh.
you do not learn the truth. So we know the good, the bad, and the ugly happens.
Yeah.
Consequences. People may think if everything is balanced, then it does not matter what you do. That is true if you want to continue living in the savage animal realm. If you want to evolve past the animal realm to a realm where there is no fear, pain, or death, you have to learn and spread the truth of life. You have to live as a spiritual being.
Hello.
If you live like an animal, you will continue to be one. And this is one of the points that I was getting to. The greatest present for the first time in history, the first time in over 700 million years. Now we don't know how, they do that stuff. On this planet, we can know life, know what we are, where we come from, and where we are going. We have to take advantage of this brief opportunity. It has been a long time coming and will be a long time gone. This book, they're talking about this book, will give you the power to change our present course to one that leads to a place without pain, fear, or suffering, a place some Western religions call heaven. That's where I
Oh.
wanted to get to. So it tells us to keep reading. And so
Heaven.
then it goes on to say, how many minutes have, 1:30. Okay. I'll
Heaven.
stop there. But I remember I was talking about Pauletta, and Pauletta said that I have her saying millisecond now. And
Right.
so as I was reading in here, I get excited when I come across something different. And so I came across this reading. I'm trying to scroll and find it
That's fine.
right quick. because
Because
I want
mine
to
isn't
read
that
it.
long.
I want to read it and make sure that
Oh,
it's
I thought it wouldn't.
in context. In context, you will be able. Oh, it's so much. I'll have to finish this on my birthday.
On your birthday. 2
Third
more days. Hey,
Thursday, but Joyce's funeral is at 11 o'clock,
you going?
and so, yeah, so Michael's he said he's gonna drive me down there, and
Oh,
so we
okay.
should be able to come on because I don't want to miss it because it's my birthday.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to go to this. Okay, life is one perpetual present. Creation is happening now. This is I'll go back over the rest of it some other day. Your body, mind, and the world around it are being created from microsecond to microsecond.
Oh, there you
Things
go.
may look the same, but they are not. Everything is constantly changing and being recreated. And really, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is the same. Even me saying these words, I'm changing as I'm saying these words. And it
Yep.
got deep into something that I was saying. But anyway, it said things may look the same, but they are not. Everything is constantly changing and being recreated. Our life and our world is being created from moment to moment. And that microsecond, that's 1 millionth of a second. And my millisecond is just 1,000th of a
Of a
second.
second, right?
So something can happen just that quick in a microsecond. So life and everything in it is always new. People think they are not good looking enough, yet young enough, thin enough, smart enough, rich enough, etc. They live on the edge of the circle and just go around and around forever, lost in the illusions of their minds. Talking about the greener grass, the concept of past, future, and a distorted perception of the present keeps people running for the greener grass on the other side of the fence. They miss the present in the process because they're looking for something else instead of enjoying what they have right now. Now, that is so true, Reedy.
Yep.
We're always looking for something
Something.
better
Yes.
and not enjoying what we have right now.
Amen.
Chasing the
Yep.
horizon. It is like running after the horizon. The faster you go, the faster it moves away from you. We can never catch that
Amen.
horizon, can we? When we're traveling, we can't catch up with it. We want to catch up with
Nope.
that sunset. We
See,
can't
the
catch
closer
up
you
with
get,
it.
the farther away it goes.
The farther it goes. That's
Yep.
right. That's right. It said, one day you realize that you are standing on it. What you were running after is where you already are and always will be. All people want is what is in the present, but they do not know it because they have never opened it. Almost no one knows what the present really means. And when it gets to talking about this present, really, it is so full. It is so full, but I'm going to leave that there. But I wanted to talk about universe and life. Do they conflict or do they complement? And you can't have one without the other. But I
Right.
think I want to do a continuation of this because it has so much wholesome information in here, and it talks about the present. And like I have said, you probably heard me say, like what I'm saying now is already in the past.
Yep. Well, what you said
Uh-huh. It's already in the
in the
past.
past. Yes.
I mean, what can we do about it? Nothing. So, okay. Whew, Lord, the universe and life, and
Woo
talking
woo.
about the train. We're on that train. We're on that train of life. And
Midnight
we don't
train of
know
joy.
where we're going to step
Woo
off, but
woo.
we know that many people that we love have stepped off the train
Amen.
at their destination. So we've
Amen.
got to live a life that we can enjoy. Stop worrying about so many things that we can't do anything about, but live in the present because the present is already in the past and we're already headed toward the future right now. So live in the present. All we have is the present. And we should enjoy it instead of worrying about this and worrying about that and worrying about that because we can't do anything about it. But it's all going to balance out anyway. All right, Reedy, it's in your hands.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. That was so wonderful. Okay, mine is on identifying your coping mechanisms. Most of us develop certain habits that act as coping mechanisms and outlets to stress. To beat stress, it is essential to overcome coping mechanisms in order to meet stress directly.
Mm-hmm.
You can then become aware of the underlying cause of your stress, whether it's your response to some challenge or perhaps choices you are making that are out of alignment with your innermost feelings.
Mm-hmm.
This enables you to address issues directly rather than allowing them to fester by avoiding the root cause through some form of distraction, i.e., a coping mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., an example.
Mm-hmm.
A coping mechanism could accurately be looked upon as a type of addiction. Like most habits, coping mechanisms have an addictive quality to them. We feel some degree of compulsion toward them. We experience when when we experience some level of difficulty in resisting them. We tend to use coping mechanisms as a distraction, a crutch that we lean on as a way of avoiding stress.
Mm-hmm.
These activities then are no longer true choices that we make, but rather unconscious habits that are often prevent us from dealing directly with stress, and they're therefore harmful to our well-being. Addiction can take many forms, both obvious and subtle. Some are clearly harmful, such as reliance on alcohol, prescriptions and recreational drugs, gambling, or dysfunctional eating. Almost anything can become an addiction through though from watching TV from watching TV to exercise, computer use, work, or even socializing. Boy, I know somebody hates somebody socializing for coping mechanism. Just come to your house for no reason, just to cope with their sorry self's time, messing up your time. Well, not their sorry self. Lord, I'm sorry. While these may not immediately appear to be destructive on very real level, they encroach on your time, sap your attention, and prevent you from living fully. Even something as natural as enjoyable as sex can sometimes become an addiction and exhibit these characteristics. These habits do not generate any true joy, but instead are a source of obsession that constantly needs to be satisfied. In speaking with many people who live with serious addictions, I have found that most addictions form gradually over time. After my breakdown, I reviewed my own life and realized that I had many addictions, though I would never have recognized these as addictions or coping mechanisms until I examined my behavior closely. Even a supposedly easily identifiable one, such as alcohol, wasn't an obvious addiction, but I wouldn't have qualified it as an alcoholic. I wouldn't be qualified as an alcoholic. However, in making my honest assessment, I had to admit that my wife and I were, at times, drinking a bottle of wine with dinner every night, and that it was fueled largely by our growing anxiety and unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
Addiction. Our behaviors may have seemed more innocent, but still, they were a reaction to my stress levels. My craving for large bowl of popcorn or multiple packets of cookies at night while watching movies in bed were not conscious choices for formal portions, but rather mindless, compulsive eating where I could consume a snack of the moment, pursuing a temporary escape from the challenge of my life. Later, I was to understand that I had become addicted to the dopamine high of junk food. Mentally and emotionally patterns that have been addictive quality are equally as important to address. Though they may be harder to recognize on my own, this is the key role of objective, wise outsider. Whether they be a trusted friend, family member, doctor, or therapist, someone both caring and impartial can help you bring to light the destructive psychological tendencies so that we can be dealt with. Until we are aware of our addictions, we are slaves to them, and we will continue to sabotage ourselves and our progress.
Mhm.
While in the Menninger Clinic, I became aware of some of my own psychological addictions, such as the way I approach my work and the building of my business, or my unhealthy need to care for others more than I care for myself, which resulted in my often feeling like a martyr. I also misunderstood. I also understood that I'd been working at a manic pace and in addictive mode. I often made have my briefcase home and working late nights in my study. Then can you hear that dog?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I can. That's it's throwing me. They got a
Whose
puppy.
dog?
PJ and them got a puppy. All she do is cry and whine, and I can hear her really, really good.
I don't hear.
No, good. Thank you. I'm glad because I can. Often taking my briefcase home and working late nights in my study, then working on Saturdays and Sundays, it was clear that my behaviors had become excessive. Start by observing where and how you spend your time. Consider the activities you turn when you are stressed and uncomfortable. Ask yourself if the way you engage in these activities have the addictive or habitual pattern to it, and if you are letting destructive behavior control your life. If you discover certain activities and psychological patterns are destructive or feel more addictive or like a release than they do joyful, then make it your goal to gradually free yourself of these addictions. In the next blog post, he's going to discuss kicking the habits and all this kind of stuff. But he was trying to tell you that you understood what he was saying. You're addicted. Your addictions can take over your life. When you think you're doing something, you working all the time. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. Now
Mm-hmm.
go back to what you were saying. It was so interesting. I'm
Huh?
done, baby. I'm done. I told you I didn't have much. I didn't have much. I told you I was
Well,
almost done when
yours
I
is
started.
good too.
Huh?
Yours is good too.
Okay.
So your
Okay.
coping mechanism. So you said
Yes, coping
sometimes
mechanisms. I need a coping
mhm,
mechanism.
it could be a cover up sometimes for
Yes. I'm
or a
gonna need one.
mask.
This dog don't stop. I'm gonna need a coping
I
mechanism.
don't hear it. I don't
I
hear
don't
it.
see how you can't.
But one other thing I wanted to say, and I talk about this movie that I liked so much, and there was one, well, two sentences in that movie. You know, there are movies and there are certain things, like people say, there are quotes and things that really grab us.
Uh-huh.
So I found that movie. I looked for it yesterday, and it's about this young Native American lady, young girl. Well, she's in high school, and she had a heart attack. And so her boyfriend got her to where he could get some help. He picked that girl up and carried her until he could get some help. And so she had a heart transplant. So, and you've heard me try to quote this before, but I went back yesterday and I looked at it over and over and got the quote and
Mm-hmm.
talking about the universe and life and
Right.
how they work and they really complement each other, okay? Because
Uh-huh.
there's nothing we can do about anything, and things are going to happen, but it
Anyway.
balances out. So this is her uncle. The girl's uncle said to her she had had the transplant. She was out in the back of their store and she was doing a little dance, had little earpod things in there, and she was dancing. So he went out to talk to her because the girl's dad, the donor's father, had found them And he went to their store to meet them. And so the girl was out and she was, just dancing around and going on. And so her uncle went out and started talking. She said, I don't think I want to go to that house because they were invited to go to their house for, I think, supper or something. And she said, I don't think I want to go. But anyway, her uncle said, when he was talking to her, they were talking in chat. He said, do you have any idea of what strange series of events had to happen for you to get that heart? The entire universe had to conspire together to save your life. Things happen balancing out.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
to save her life, a life had to be given up.
Yeah.
You see that balance right there? So
Uh-huh.
while her family is rejoicing that she got a heart to save her life, then some other family is grieving because their loved one's life is over. And
Yep.
this, it's over. She won't be back.
Yep.
But this young lady got that heart. So while they're rejoicing, the other family is grieving.
Mm-hmm.
So he said the entire universe had to conspire together. He said for 4 hours, at least, the universe had to conspire together to save your life. And how do we know what the universe has done, what God has done for us to be sitting right here, right now, reading? What if we were destined, or what if it was for us to have left here a few minutes ago? I mean, dead, gone, or yesterday, or the day before. We don't know what God might have moved around so we
Right.
could be right here today.
Right.
But the universe, and God is the creator of the universe, the plan, the maneuvering, the universe, life had to work together to balance things out so that we could be here today. There's so much in there. Oh, it's so much in there, Clee. And it's talking about, we don't know if we're unconscious, if we're conscious and all that. We can't tell. We don't know anything except that we don't know everything. And we can control nothing.
Yep, that's it.
So we have to take it as God gives it to
Give
us.
it to it. That's
And
right.
so that's why the train, live the best life you can for yourself and before others, so that we can leave a positive influence on everyone that we come in contact with, because we're in contact with people we don't know we're in contact with. Just like right here on the World Wide Web, people are seeing us that we will never know are seeing us. Never know.
Never.
And then some of our own people that we know are watching us, and they will never tell us that they're watching us. But that is great. I love it.
That is the truth.
I love
That's
it.
the truth.
Because they're interested enough to watch, even if they want to say, well, I just want to see what they're talking about. That's fine and dandy. But let me tell you, the universe and life, it balances out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
It balances out.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I am thankful. And then it had to acknowledge the fact that we are, everything balances out. So when we feel like, oh, it's something else that I wanted to talk about, because it was talking about the secret. Most people know you do not need things to happen to be happy, to be fulfilled. It talks about being happy, but most people do not know how it works. The secret is opening your mind, and this is what, oh man, it captured me. Without thought and negative emotions, the same thing happens when you get what you think you want. What you think you want. We can train our minds to be happy instead of focusing on things that make us unhappy. Focus on what's making you happy right now. Being fulfilled by life all the time is a true goal of mankind. Everything that people do directly and indirectly, good and bad, is to be fulfilled by life. Once you
Amen.
know the truth, you can skip all the things and just be fulfilled. You won't have to
Mm-hmm.
focus on those things. Empty, something missing, the which, and I like the way it talks about the which too. I'm not going to keep going. We have, okay, that which is. The literal meaning of the word truth is that which is. The living truth equals that which is. That which is equals the present. Here we go back to the present. All we have, really, is right now. That's all we have.
That's all.
The
In this
truth of the
moment.
past equals that which was. The truth of the future equals that which will be. You can only truly know that which is because now is the only thing that exists. Right now, the past is a memory or a story. The future is just an educated guess.
Yes, it is.
And you know, I was talking about the long-term and short-term goals. I was talking about that Thursday, right? And I was saying
Uh-huh.
5 years is long-term goal for me because we don't know where we'll be in the next 5 minutes
That's right.
or the next 5 seconds. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the future is just an educated guess. You can only know the true past and what the true future will be by knowing that which is possible. If you know how life works, you will know everything. So, hey, we don't know, do we? The definition of ultimate truth. It is knowing the truth of life. It is knowing the fundamental, eternal laws of nature and the nature of the mind which distorts, and hides the truth. It is an accurate and complete understanding of that which is. That's all we have. He said, you do not and cannot understand every detail of life and do not have to. You just have to understand the big picture, the fundamental nature of life. The truth never changes because that which is can never change. It cannot change and exist. When you know life completely, you become life completely. It's self-evident. You know, that's in what? The preamble, the Constitution, whichever. Self-evident. There is nothing easier to know than the truth. And we know that's it. We can repeat the truth over and
Yep.
over. We can
Oh,
know the
yep.
truth because it is life itself. It is nothing more and nothing less. The truth is the present, the now. Oh my Lord, please, I can't just go on. Oh my goodness,
My
it's all
God.
true. It is all true. The truth is simply everything there is, everything that truly exists. If it does not exist, it is not the truth. If it does, it is. That which is everything except for the deceptions created by the mind. And this is where I'm trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it. Ignorance may deride it. But in the end, there it is. And Winston Churchill said that I don't care what happens, how people try to discredit the truth, how they try to mask the truth or whatever. In the
Mm-hmm.
end,
In the end.
the truth is the truth. 2 + 2 was 4.
Hello.
It does not equal anything else. The truth
Can't.
is there's only one truth. Believing 2 + 2 equals 5 or 6 or anything else does not make it true. And see, really, I can't help it. I'm going to stop. I don't want my head to twist off.
Cause this where
There
it's
is
going.
an
Cause you
infinite
done held it back on and screwed it back on 2 times.
there is an infinite amount of wrong answers, but only one true answer.
Yep.
And then we talk about hope and belief. Believing and hoping something is true or going to be true does not make it true. We can hope all we want for something to be true, but it doesn't make it true if it's not true. So if you do not start with the real truth, it is the truth or it is not. There is no way to make something that is not true true.
Nope.
There is only one truth. And so
Yep.
the universe, I believe that the life and the universe really are one. And they work together and they balance out each other.
Sounds like,
So
right.
whatever's happening now is going to happen right the next, before I get through with this sentence, it all balances out. It's a life and death. They balance each other out. They balance each other out. Okay, Reedy, I'm done because it's so much. I just get anyway, get excited.
I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it.
And I enjoy yours too,
I
because
was
it's so
enjoying
much
it.
in here about
Huh?
truth and being a myth and the fairy tales and all of that. But I'll come back.
Claudette Matthews said happy birthday, first day Shirley Davis.
Claudia,
Uh-huh. Hey Tim.
yeah, thank you,
Tim Polk is
Claudia.
watching. Hey Tim.
Who?
Tim.
Hi, Tim. Hello, favorite nephew. I know you said here she goes.
My favorite nephew.
Yes. Hello, talking about life and the universe. Do they
Yes,
complement or do
indeed.
they conflict? And we know they complement each other because life would not exist without the universe.
Mm-hmm.
God made the universe. All
Amen.
right, well, we won't prolong the time. It's 1:57, but thank you,
Yep.
everyone. Clea, I enjoyed it so much. And I always go back and watch it because you can tell I'm moving around doing things and everything, but I always
And I
go
told
back
you,
and watch.
I be nervous. You used to speaking, I be nervous.
You be doing a great, you do
And
a
I'm
great
still
job.
nervous when doing it.
You
So,
do a great job. Now
but I'm working
Thursday,
on it.
huh?
My coping mechanism. Hello.
You're doing great. You are doing great. And I'm so happy you're on here with me. I'm so happy. And so, like I said, our cousin Joyce Polk will be funeralized on this coming Thursday, January the 13th at 11, starting at 11 a.m. And it'll be in Waco. And it's, I think I know it's Mount Olive Baptist Church. I don't know whether it's a new Mount Olive Baptist Church. But anyway, and it is on,
Well,
oh
Dwayne said
gosh, I forgot the name of the street name. Turner
let
Street.
everybody know.
Huh?
Dwayne said he was gonna post it, let everybody know.
He did. The Wasey had put it on there too.
Oh, okay.
It's on there,
Okay.
and so it's at 11. So God willing, Mike Hale said he's going to drive his mommy down, and my birthday is coming up Thursday, and I'm turning over, going into somewhere else now, another decade, God willing.
Whoop, whoop.
So
Hey, whoop,
I
whoop.
just thank God for everything, and I know that, like I say, and I stress so much, we know we have no control over anything. No control over anything. God has control over everything. And we thank him for this space and this time. And we trust and pray that everybody that hears and watches what we say will have a positive interpretation of it. Because we definitely want to spread positivity. And we research and research and research. And this article has gotten my mind so excited. And then talking about the train that Kay talked about. And then with people taking life for granted. We have 1 minute, life for granted. And we talk about the transplants. Did you see that on the news yesterday where this man, his last chance was for a transplant? They denied him a human heart. And they modified a pig. So evidently they've been working on this pig a long time. And then the man came along and needed a heart. And this was his last chance. He couldn't get a human heart. They put a pig heart in him. And today is his 4th day surviving off that pig heart. So people don't take life for granted. Something had to die in order for many people to live. And then remember, Jesus Christ gave his life and then came back so that we could have the right to eternal life. That's what he did for us. And then people who misuse their bodies and do all kinds of things, be careful. Turn over a new leaf. Take care of yourself. Take care of this body, this precious body that God has given to you, because somebody is dying because they don't have what you have in this body to sustain you. So that being said, I love you so much. Reedy does too. Right, Reedy?
I love you so much.
And we appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. Thank you so much. And God willing, uh, Thursday, January 13th, we will be on here beginning at 1 p.m. unless we have
If
to
you're
do some
going to be out of
adjustments.
town,
Unless we have to do some adjustments. Maybe we might change it to maybe an hour later if you can. Read it.
I have to see. I don't know.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Because my
Love
kid
you,
got something going
everybody.
on this week,
All
so I
right.
don't know.
Enjoy your day. Love you, Reedy.
Okay,
Good
enjoy
talking to you.
yours. Love y'all, everybody. Love you,
Okay.
Tim. Thank you, Nancy
Love you,
and
Tim.
Claudette.
Claudette. And who else was on there?
Tim and Nancy Hogan Bryant.
Hi, Nancy and Tim and Claudette. Love y'all. Talk with you later.
Okay, talk to you later. Love you. Okay, bye-bye.